we pride ourselves on excellence, and if you go into our gym, we don't have conference banner or district runner-up banners. I mean, every banner up there is a state banner, and it was hard. It hurt to look up there after 16 years, that we'd been working here, and no banner, and there hadn't been one prior to that. And you think in the history of the school, whenever it opened, one time Perham basketball must have got to state, and they hadn't.
I honestly don't know if I could count the hours we spent in the summer working on our games.
We talked about it during the fall and stuff, we can do this,
We made a promise to ourselves that next year, this time, we're going to be playing in this championship game.
Perham, Minnesota has never been a basketball town. In 1995, Dave Cressup was hired as head coach of a boys program that had not won a playoff game in over 30 years.
Well, the history of my career goes back to that I've taken over programs that have really been in the doghouse, I will be honest. And I went to a place called Perham, North Dakota, where I got to. It had 232 people in the town, and they hadn't won a varsity game in 6 years. So I had to go in there, and I had 9 kids show up for practice, and 3 of those were freshmen. And then I went over to Walhalla, North Dakota. They had won 3 games in 4 years. After 3 years, we were in the section championship game to go to the state tournament. And in 1995, I was able to get the job at Perham, and being a Holly graduate, I knew that it was going to be a tough road.
Well, we were god-awful. It wasn't a part of our culture in Perham. Basketball was just another winter sport. We had no following.
They had gone through a lot of coaching changes in those years, and I went into it with an approach that I was going to start a summer camp right away. So I got here in July, and I ran a summer camp right away.
I was in 8th grade when Coach Cressup came to town. You could see just right away that he was way different than other coaches. He was so enthusiastic, and he wanted to spend a lot of time. I mean, he really invested, in the youth program. He wanted to build a program.
And it was a challenge because people weren't used to basketball being a sport that they wanted to watch. So the first year, we go out and win 7 or 8 games, and people thought it was pretty darn good from 1 or 2 win seasons that they had been going through in the past. And then from that point on, we've had 1 losing season in 16.
The program was to a point where, year in, year out, they were winning and they were competitive and they were in the top part of the conference. But every single year seemed to end on a down note. Just like finished one game before we should have.
In 2010, the Yellowjackets won 20 games. That team was led by talented sophomores and juniors, and All-State senior center Ben Buchholz.
I remember thinking we were going to go to state for sure. I thought we had a very good chance, but then we kind of sucked at the end.
In the second round of the playoffs, Perham blew a 15-point lead in the second half and lost to Holly 57-49. Months later, a new season. The Yellowjackets set goals extremely high for a program that had never even won a section championship.
I guess the goal was just go to state.
Make it down to March 28th and play in the state title game.
Make it to state championship with a win state.
The state championship.
Win the state championship.
Coming out first game, I got those jitters again.
I was so nervous.
First game was nervous. I'm pretty sure everybody was nervous.
We were just pumped to get out on the court, and I think we showed that against Crookston.
Despite suffering from a respiratory virus, junior Zach Gabbard led all players with 16 points. There was little time to celebrate.
We don't like losing the Pelican at all.
The juniors especially, that's been their rivalry since they've been little.
I think we started playing against them in 5th grade, and we've always win, loss, win, win, win.
There's no love lost there.
I just never really have liked Pelicans.
Well, the Pelican game last year was a real letdown for me. I thought going into that game we'd be really focused to go in there and get that job done and win the conference championship over there. But we came in, I thought, real tentative about what we were doing, and maybe it's because our program hasn't been in that spot for so long. They didn't know how to react when they're in a game that would clinch the conference championship.
One of our goals last season was to win the HL championship, and they cut us short of that.
It was revenge. We knew that last game, was a fluke.
With 6:45 to play, Perham held a 2-point lead. The Yellowjackets went on an 11-2 run to seal the win. Up 10 with only seconds left, Mark Schumacher attempted a dunk rather than running out the clock. This upset many Pelican Rapids fans.
Shuey.
After the game, especially after Mark tried to dunk, and just some of the words that were spoken, I got a taste for what the rivalry was really about, and I started to develop some feelings for them myself. As crazy as that sounds.
The play before that, Pelican Rapids pushed the ball on a fast break. To be honest, I don't feel one bit bad about it. I just wish he would have made the dunk.
I'm glad I tried to dunk on him when we were up by 10. I'm going to do it next year too. What can I say?
Perham jumped to number 5 in the Minnesota State AA rankings.
We just started to win, and they're like, oh, these guys are pretty good.
A big date loomed against the second-ranked team in Class Single A.
Coming into the Worthington tournament, I found out Ellsworth was going to be there, and I was like, I really hope we can play him, get a shot at him.
Zach and Jordan Anderson and Jordan Cusp and I, we used to go down to state with each other, so we'd always see Ellsworth playing, and we heard they had some stud kids in our grade.
3 years ago at the state tournament, we saw Casey Schilling and Dalton Hoosman.
So we'd always try getting coach to get us a game against them, which never happened.
We got to play them, see what they got. And we finally got our chance at him.
Well, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I got to guard Casey Schilling.
He could take you off the dribble, he could shoot the three, and he could post you up inside.
He's long, and
you make sure he doesn't get that open shot.
And I thought, this is a chance for you to go out and prove yourselves that, hey, we are going to be one of those teams that's going to be around when the section finals comes and the state tournament comes. We're going to send the message out there right now that we can play with these teams.
The Jackets opened up a 10-point lead in the second half and cruised to victory.
At the end of the game, you look at the scoreboard, we're up by 20. We won by 20. I was just like, wow, we just took down number 2 team in the state.
We knew we had to prove ourselves. Coming into the season, we weren't really recognized. When people heard Perham, they were like, Perham? Who's that? And I think that win really put us on the map.
Big confidence booster.
Oh, it sent a message throughout the state that people better watch out for us, and I think we finally got a little respect from some other teams around the area that Perham can actually play. excited when you walk in the gym and see 1,800 people.
Really, that many people are going to come out to watch this game?
It was tournament time in the middle of the season.
It was billed as one of the big preseason games because we were both picked so high in the section, and they come into town and they were without a couple kids there that night.
But the Jackets could not stop 6'3" senior Curtis Moody.
I don't know. I think it was just maybe that night, or maybe he's just that good. But just everything he did just seemed to work.
You put all your focus on that one guy.
He's that type of player you're just not going to shut down to under 10 points. He's going to get his 17 at least.
Perham trailed at the half but opened up a 10-point lead with 8 minutes to play. With 10 seconds left, the Jackets led by 4 points.
It's good to send a message that you're going to be able to play with these teams early in the season.
I think that there was no doubt who was a better team that night.
Perham was off to its best start in school history, but the schedule was about to get difficult, and no one could have imagined just how difficult it was to become.
I remember running out for warm-ups, and it was really awkward, and just like warming up just wasn't loose. Everyone felt everyone was tight, and shooting just wasn't right.
We didn't really execute.
We were playing like crap. We could not do anything against their zone, and we weren't making any shots. We weren't making good passes, and just nothing that game was going right.
I had a thought cross my mind, what's going on? Because he drove the lane on the right side of the basket. It missed by 3-4 feet. Something's not right here. Something's not right.
You gotta stop the game! Stop the game!
He's like, I can't see, coach. And then just fell, and then I was like, oh, what is going on?
My guy just set a screen on him, so I was like 2-3 feet away from him, and I see him go down.
And all I hear is a lot of people yelling.
And so I thought like maybe he got pushed, and honestly I just thought he fell down from a screen or he got bumped.
You know, I was just gonna be like one of those things where he sits on the bench for a little bit and maybe he won't finish out the game.
this can't be nothing bad, is it? I mean, nothing ever bad has happened to Zach like this. And as soon as he went down, I'm just like, well, he'll be fine. He'll get up.
Zach Gabbard was lying motionless on the court.
He never ever done that. No signs of, never, like nothing like that. Like I knew right away there was something wrong because it's just not right.
After 2 or 3 minutes, and I said, Zach.
He wasn't breathing, and I put my hand on his chest, and I couldn't feel anything.
I was sitting on the bench, and of course there was a crowd of people that separated my view from Zach, and all of a sudden you could just hear, like, it was just got really quiet because there was murmur in the crowd, but then you could just hear the breath being pushed out of him, and then I realized they're doing CPR, something is not right. And my mind just immediately jumped to conclusions. Why would they be doing a CPR? I had a kid who's breathing just fine.
Zach, who had no real history of health problems, had suffered cardiac arrest.
Well, when they sent us to the locker room, I was kind of confused because I didn't think it was anything big right away. I kind of thought that too, he was going to be just snap out of it, he was going to be fine. He'd come back to the game and watch the rest of it.
Coach Schmitz kept going in and out.
Schmitty came in and said that, not to make you guys upset or anything, but this is really serious. We're really worried about him right now.
And then at just one point, I just couldn't take it, and I just broke down. And at that point, we just all kind of huddled around where me and Mark were sitting, and we just sat there and prayed.
That's when our team really found out that we're a family, right there. We were all holding each other and crying, and Gabe led us in our prayer.
Zach was rushed by ambulance to nearby Sanford Hospital in Fargo. 5 of the Perham coaches went too, while the players rode the bus home. The game was postponed.
We didn't really want to get there in some ways.
I was scared to death at that time if he was going to live or not.
To get there and find out that, yes, he's still alive, there is a pulse, that was very relieving, even though he was far from out of the woods yet.
It was just completely quiet the whole ride home. We try and lighten the mood with like just jokes or small talk or whatever, but no matter what, it was always on the back of our mind that Zach was struggling for his life, and it's definitely emotional on their way back. I saw my brother crying. My brother looks up to Zach like his idol, and it was just it's tough to deal with.
We were just constantly on our phone texting Cressup who he was there.
I had over 700 text messages that night.
He was praying for someone to say, yeah, he's fine, he's out of the hospital, and it just never came.
He'd have the occasional updates, which are never good enough.
We didn't know anything. It was just confusion, basically.
We couldn't get much information, and the little we didn't really make sense to us anyway because it wasn't enough to do anything with. So we just had to play the waiting game, and the waiting game's hard.
That's when the rumors started.
So you kind of really didn't know what to believe.
It was hell. I didn't sleep. I didn't look at my phone because I didn't want to know. I really didn't want to know what was going on. I was just like, I just don't want to lose my good friend.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to think about it, not knowing if you're going to see him tomorrow or not.
Laying in your bed, couldn't really sleep because every time you closed your eyes, it was just still there.
So I was up. I didn't want to sleep. When I did sleep, it was horrible because my dreams were about Zach.
It was about 5:30, 6 o'clock that Friday night, and the doctors came out and they're trying to work and keep his heart going. They said they couldn't get those to take hold or couldn't get him to work. They said we probably should form a prayer group there, and then we all got in a circle with Aaron Anderson leading us a prayer, about 40 of us at the same time. Then Meredy and Steve and Courtney went down to the chapel to have a prayer, and in the hospital there, and they came back about 5 minutes later, and miracles do happen because they came up and the doctors came out and said everything's working.
I actually was playing defense too. So I don't think I should play defense next year, Cressup. Who wants to play defense? It's not fun. I came to the bench and I was like, Coach, I'm not feeling too good. And he was like, just suck it up, like he always does. And I did. And then, I'm not blaming you, Coach. Not at all. And then, I fell. I think. I fell. Okay. People were there, and apparently there's a lot of people that came to the hospital that night crying, which, that's weird, because I don't think people care about me that much. It means a lot to me, and thank you guys, because that means you really care about me, which is nice, because I care about you guys too.
On Sunday morning, just 3 days after the accident, Zach was being transported to the University of Minnesota Hospital. The coaches made a quick trip to Fargo to see Zach before he was moved.
Looking at a 17-year-old that wasn't made of much in the first place, you go in and see him and he's all battered up. He's very pale, very frail.
Knowing Zach, I mean, he's a fighter. He don't quit.
Just the fact that he was still around, that was, I think, the most uplifting thing that we had.
I mean, we knew it was going to be a long road.
On Monday, the team held a meeting to discuss whether they should play the next day at West Central.
We met in the choir room with all basketball players.
I thought for sure we'd never play that Tuesday game, and I was hoping they were going to want to play by Friday.
Well, I know, should we play, shouldn't we play, should we cancel,
The whole time I knew that Zach would want us to play.
We got to play this game.
If there was one person that said they didn't want to, we wouldn't have.
No one was against it. I think if we put it off, it was just going to get harder and harder.
It was tough going back onto the court, but we all knew it was the right thing to do.
He loved basketball, so even if he wasn't there, he'd be pushing for us the whole time.
Definitely. They should have played like they did.
Coming up to West Central, I remember there's just a giant banner for Zach in the window, and it's just, as soon as I saw that, it was just like, he wasn't with us.
We ran out holding up the number 3, and it brought tears to my eyes.
The hardest part probably was every game at 5 minutes left, I'd do the reverse hand back with Zach and shoot. And I don't know why, but I looked up and it was at 5 minutes exactly, and it just kind of set in that he wasn't with us, and we had to, it was just, he wasn't there.
On behalf of West Central area, we'd like to say, hang in there, Zach. Hang in there, Perham community. We're behind you.
Normal crowd at an away game is parents, a few students if they can make it, and not very much more.
No one wants to drive to West Central for a basketball game, but
I've never seen that many people at an away game. Never.
There were some faces I wasn't expecting.
Growing up being a ball boy, I never even saw that many people there. They were really, really behind us.
They knew we needed the support.
Everything was for Zach. I mean, we didn't really care if we won or lost the game as long as we played for him.
They were playing with a passion. They were playing with a purpose.
Every shot's going in, and
We played the best defense of our lives.
We had motivation, for Zach.
They were just so astounding. They're so sharp that night, so crisp.
We just completely dominated them.
That game set the tone for the rest of the season.
During the game, Steve was giving Zach updates. Although he was depending on a ventilator, he was breathing a few breaths on his own.
Because I was like, we're doing this, we're going to win.
We went from having no hope to some hope.
I think at that point in time we were so happy to hear anything good.
He's getting better, slowly. And at that time, news like that was unbelievable.
It'd have to be an awfully large coincidence that his breathing and everything was escalating just happened to be at the moment that his dad was talking to him about the game.
Meredith, Zach's mom, said when she had I think it was a brain tumor, she could hear everything that was going outside, even though she was unresponsive. She could hear everything. So I believe that too, that Zach could hear everything. And
that's a weird thing, because I think I always knew what was going on. I knew that I had a heart attack right when I woke up. So I don't know if I could hear people while I was unconscious or something, which I think I could. But I knew what happened, but I just didn't get all the details until later.
The Yellowjackets celebrated the same way they had after every victory this season.
The one clap cheer. All right.
That was basically his favorite chant to do.
One clap. We got it from Randy Moss.
Everybody, one clap, one clap, one clap, one clap.
Before the Crookston game, we actually just were messing around and we started doing it, and then hey, let's do it after we win.
We love having a little fun after the games.
The one clap for Zach came with Brune actually said, let's go one clap for Zach.
Every victory we did was we're doing it for Zach, and that's how we celebrate.
It sounded right going one clap for Zach. It just stuck there.
For one Perham coach, Zach's incident hit very close to home.
When I was 19 years old, I was playing basketball with friends at the community center here in Perham. I suffered a cardiac arrest, and a few years ago I was coaching elementary basketball, including a lot of the kids that make up our varsity right now. And I had another cardiac arrest, and this time my internal defibrillator shocked me and it saved my life. Everybody wanted to do whatever they could to help, and I did too. I had the idea and I sat down at the computer and I was just going through things, and finally the one clap for Zach kind of came to my mind, the saying, because I always thought that was such a cool cheer. Our kids are so close, and that cheer was really something that I thought was special. I had no idea that they would be as big as they would. I mean, I thought we'd maybe sell a couple hundred shirts and raise a couple $1,000 for the Gabbard family, help them out. I had no idea we'd wind up selling over 4,000 of them.
Pelican's always been our biggest rival.
We just knew that Zach would be mad if we lost, and
he loved playing there. He just said, I just want to go there and go 5 for 5 from the deep line there and just shut him up.
That was his favorite gym to shoot in because Pelican hated us so much.
It's just something about Pelican. When we play them, it's just different than every other game.
I knew we were going to be emotionally drained. A lot of those kids have been up for many hours without much sleep.
We knew that every beginning game was going to be emotional because the coaches would talk, the towns were raising money.
But why not? Why not play your best, your biggest rival on the toughest night over there?
Perham led by as many as 11 in the second half, but Pelican Rapids stormed back to force overtime, where they handed Perham its first loss of the season.
teams to lose to. Pelican. It's by far the worst.
Felt terrible. Never want to lose to the rival like that.
It's just one of those games that nothing really went in at the end.
But it did make the week worse, just knowing, Zach was there when we were undefeated, and it's kind of felt like you let him down almost,
After they won, they just stormed the court like it was the championship game itself.
And we just didn't have that one guy to just step up and say, I'm going to take over.
We always relied on Zach. He was our main scorer. Whenever we needed a score, we just passed him the ball, and he'd somehow put it in the hoop, and we just didn't have that guy that night.
You can't make excuses. You can't be like, oh, we lost because of Zach. We chose to play. We can still say, it was hard. Obviously, no matter what you say, it's still going to have an effect on it, but we gave it our best, and it just wasn't enough.
I mean, we had a chance to win that game. We just missed the last shot. Everybody's missed that shot.
Maybe it was an awakening for us, maybe it was just that one game that, it was just like, you guys need to focus, through all that whole game.
It just, so much pressure just went off our shoulders, and we're just like, okay, let's win the rest now.
Just hours later was a matchup with Maple River, a team previously ranked number 8 in the state. Before the game, Maple River honored Zach with a poster that was hung in the gym.
I thought it was really classy of them.
They're like 5 hours away from here, and not having any affiliations with Zach or any of us from our town.
They brought it out to us, and again, brings back a little tears in your eyes, just knowing that he's not there.
Just one day after Zach had successful heart surgery, his father Steve drove from Minneapolis to Perham to watch the game.
Basketball's his life. Zach was his life. So, he just wanted to be there for us, like we were trying to be there for him. With, Gabbard going down, there goes one of our scorers. And
where's that scoring going to come from?
Jordan Bruin picked up the slack, scoring a career-high 28 points.
Man, was he special that day. I just kept going to the rim until they stopped me, and they weren't stopping me.
When he has to take over for the team and he has to get points, he can do whenever he wants, and he can get to the hole whenever he wants.
None of us would score if he didn't penetrate and get all those looks that he had. And
he's our playmaker on the court. He sees everything.
After road wins at Staples Motley and Breckenridge was a date with Detroit Lakes, a rival that knew Perham quite well. The Lakers were feeling Perham's pain. Many of their players had played AAU basketball with Zach since 4th grade.
We've played against this DL team for a long time.
Growing up, we always had such a hard time with DL.
You want to beat these guys, but yet they're still your friends.
It was very special in the thought that they had so much feelings for us in our community, and Zach, and they presented us with over $4,000 or $5,000 that night, that they raised during that whole evening of the girls and boys doubleheaders.
And there was so many one clap for Zach shirts on. I didn't know who was from cheering for Perham and who was cheering for DL. It was pretty amazing. And
10 minutes left in the first half. Jordan Brune was sent to the bench with 2 fouls.
Having Brune in foul trouble meant that I had to basically go out there, step on the court, and fill in big shoes.
I looked at him and said, you got a lot of minutes to play here. He knew that I expected a lot out of him.
The foul trouble continued. Nick Topkin quickly picked up his second foul, and sophomore Jordan Hine was rushed into the game.
Brune and Topkin both had fouls, so I knew I had to step up and help our team.
They had to step up right now or we might get beat.
As a coach, you're hoping as you sub somebody in, you hope just to maintain until you can get your guys in foul trouble back in. Well, it wasn't just a maintenance thing. He was getting he was producing.
Anderson and Hine extended Perham's lead, while Brune and Topkin came back in the second half. The Yellowjackets won 60-50, moving their record to 15-1. Meanwhile, in Minneapolis, Zach was making significant progress. He was now awake and responding to simple requests, like squeezing a hand when asked.
What we were really worried about at that point was the brain damage and if he was going to respond, because he was still just laying there. He squeezed the nurse's hand and stuff. That was awesome. We thought, he's really going to recover all the way at that point.
That was really encouraging because it really showed that he actually was going to come out of it and that he actually understood what people were talking about.
And just keep praying and I'm not a very religious guy, but with Zach, he really helped me find my faith.
Just felt motivated to get through practice and go as hard as you can.
Each day, more and more people wanted to track Zach's progress. His family began to communicate daily updates through a website called Caring Bridge. Over 500,000 people visited Zach's site.
That was amazing. There's so many pages on there, so many hits, and so many views. I just can't believe it.
Hearing all those messages was really inspiring every day.
I can't believe the following. I mean, they're from everywhere.
It just meant a lot to see how much people cared.
It's crazy. It's super crazy.
It's a good way to communicate without the family going through every little question and everything. They can write down what they need to write down and then not answering those questions over and over again.
Just like, oh, let's watch shoes put back dunk. I'm just like, no, let's not watch shoes put back dunk. That's me missing. And just on the way up, it's just kind of just it's a miss that's replayed because Marks just grabs the rebound and dunks it. Yeah, yay.
Some things are just too big for me to put down on a piece of paper, to let slip out from my fingers. And it's like a breath of fresh air, wanting what I know is better, knowing that.
On February 14th, nearly a month after his accident, Zach was taken off a ventilator. He had begun therapy where he was able to throw a roll of tape to his nurses. 1 month after Zach's collapse, Perham and DGF met again.
As I thought back to everything that happened on January 20th, I thought, how can we make sure that these people are noticed for what they did? And I thought we had to do something special, so we came up with a little ceremony, and I wanted to make sure that the people that were all there were honored in some form or another.
And she sat in the crowd and looked down on the ground and saw a gold coin sitting on the ground right beside her. She bent down and picked up this gold coin, which she thought was a presidential coin. She placed it in her pocket. That coin was in my pocket the entire time I was by Zach's side. The following Monday, I reached into my pocket so I could pay for my morning coffee. I pulled out that coin, and it was then that I realized there was not a president on the coin. Instead, on both sides, there were guardian angels. And she spent at least 20 minutes giving Zach compressions, which saved his life.
That ceremony was definitely emotional.
Big celebration of sort of how Zach is pulling through.
In just a matter of hours, a Minnesota community raised tens of thousands of dollars to help the family of a teen who collapsed on the basketball court. More than 1,100 people walked through the doors of Mulligan's Pub in Perham today.
To see him give money like that is something that you really never forget, and that how generous a lot of people are.
It just shows that we live in a community that cares.
Well, there's 5 spots open, and he said he was going to take the 5 hardest workers.
Just keep trying hard in practice and hopefully get on team for state.
Coach finally talked to the 5 that did get moved up. You're going to be sitting bench for the Concordia game.
I was getting nervous just sitting on the bench.
We didn't really expect to be playing.
Once I got on the floor, it was just all sorts of adrenaline hitting me.
For the first time in 29 years, Perham was conference champions. The Jackets didn't celebrate long. Sabika, the #1 ranked team in Class A and the 2010 state tournament runner-up, was waiting.
I had never been in that gym before. I had heard that it's a little cracker box gym. I mean, one side of bleachers, the benches are right up against the wall, not very much room.
I think it was just one of those games, you know, one of those must-see games of the season. And
I heard it was going to be a sellout.
I've been to games where, you know, the JV, second half of the JV, the gym's filling up. But to have the 9th graders not have anywhere to sit when their game is done is kind of funny.
It was packed after the C-team game.
even the hallways, people were just trying to watch it from the open doors.
They didn't even have room for the band. And when you're sitting on your chair, I look down, my feet are in play.
They could shoot it, they could dribble it, they could pass it, they could jump, they could run, they could defend, they could do it all.
A win would give us some momentum going to the playoffs, and a loss would probably set us back a little bit.
Thanks to excellent three-point shooting, Sabika jumped out to an early 15-8 lead.
It started so up-tempo. Everyone was draining threes.
They could light it up in a hurry.
And think, oh, they hit a couple more on these, we'll really be in trouble.
Perham battled back to tie the game at halftime.
Their perimeter shooting was so good.
They had 5 guys who were legit.
Perham opened up an 8-point lead in the second half. Sabika rallied to within 2, but the Jackets made 5 of 6 free throws, clinching the win. Sabika's streak of 41 consecutive victories at home was over.
Before the game, we were looking at they had like a little train on the wall, marking down all their wins. To know that we've put a loss on that wall is just really satisfying.
You got to give a lot of credit to Sabika for going 40 or 41 games in a row without losing a game.
Some of these kids were freshmen or sophomores when that streak started. They didn't know what it was like to lose there. And
I still talk about it to this day. That was one of the best games I've played in. Beating #1 ranked team win in front of all their fans, that was special.
The final regular season game saw Perham against Wadena Deer Creek, a school rebounding from its own tragedy. In June 2010, a tornado ripped through Wadena, leveling the town and destroying the high school.
Bass up track in the trunk roll slap. Seats lean back, man, the beat so fat it go boom, 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 boom. Bass up track in the trunk roll slap. Seats lean back, man, the beat so fat it go boom, 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 boom.
It was playoff time. The Yellowjackets made quick work of Frazee in the first round. That set up a rematch with the Holly Nuggets, the team that ended Perham's season the previous year.
So, like, I didn't sleep, like, out of the whole night. I probably slept, like, 2 hours maybe. Like, I was up the whole night, and, like, I was shivering cold. Woke up in the morning, and Cressel texted me, "You ready for tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah, I feel kind of sick." "Oh, you're fine. Just go to the doctor." I'll go to the doctor, and she's like, "You have pneumonia."
I remember laying in bed that day, and I heard my dad say, he was talking on the phone to someone, he's like, "What? Brune's not playing?"
Cressel calls me in the morning. Brune's sick.
And I remember I instantly got up and I had to check this out for myself. I couldn't believe it. I thought, like, he's a little sick, he'll play. But I heard the truth, and he wasn't going to play.
I knew we had to shoot around, so I had some time to think a little bit and then come to the gym and get things prepared.
And like, Nick actually came to the gym, and I was like, "Yeah, Brune's out." He's like, "Ha ha ha, you're funny." I was like, "Really?" And his face just went, oh.
I was just so mad that he got sick.
I basically about peed my pants there. I mean, I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to really have to step up and fill big shoes here.
My heart just sank because he does so much with the basketball. He runs our offense. You can't replace a kid like that.
I was hoping that someone would step up.
I mean, Holly's not bad. They're a high quality team.
And I had scouted that night before I came back, and I said, I don't like them. I don't like playing them.
In the summer ball, we played them without Jordan and Sam, and we beat them by like 8 points then. It was actually a really close game, but I knew we could do it.
We knew we weren't doomed, but it's just like, really, we need another obstacle to go over just to get to where we're going. It felt like it never end.
Can we beat them without Jordan? Yeah, we can do it.
So we got to convey that message to the team that we're still able to do this without him and get the job done and move on to the next round.
Evan was like, "All right, then we're just going to go do it."
And I knew they'd be fine without me.
The Yellowjackets shot the ball well from beyond the arc. They led the Nuggets by 11 points with 10 minutes to go.
I was like, game over, we got it.
That's what we thought.
Thought we were done, but nope, we weren't.
Holly chipped away, cutting the Jackets' lead to 5.
I was on the bench. I had come off, sat down. Schmitty turns to me. He's like, Anderson, you better be ready to go.
With 3:52 to play, senior guard Nick Topkin fouled out.
Oh boy, this just got 100% harder without him.
Nick always falls out, first of all.
I knew that was going to happen.
I was so mad at myself.
This is the year we've all been planning for, and then Zach goes down, Bruin's sick, Topkin falls out.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how many other things could happen to one team?
Hey, if you want me to be honest with you, I was worried to death that we were going to have to make another plans for next year.
Holly tied the game on a three-pointer from sophomore Devin Pekas. Mark Schumacher responded with only his 4th three-pointer of the year. Mike Wiskow added a layup to put the Jackets up 5 with 48 seconds. Holly answered with a 3, then fouled Jordan Anderson, who could ice the game with free throws.
I'm running back. Nobody else is running back. Severson's up ahead. I thought, okay, I'm just going to go up there, contest this shot, not foul him. Being an idiot, I go up there and I run right into him and get the foul and one. That tied the game. Let him go to the free throw line, and I wasn't feeling too good after that. I'm just like, what the heck did I just do? I gave him a chance to go ahead and win this game.
My heart just sank.
And it all happened so fast. All of a sudden, the ball was down the court in like 1 second. I don't even think it hit the floor. It literally felt like someone like Mike Tyson punched me right in the stomach.
I just could not believe that we lost a 5-point lead in 48 seconds.
I was just like, are you serious? Like, this cannot be happening right now.
All the hard work that we put in and just done. Second round of playoffs. I just couldn't believe it.
And I looked over at Topkin, and he was starting to cry.
And it wasn't just a weep. He was actually sobbing, knowing that it could be over.
I was feeling pretty much on the ground there. I put my head in my jersey. I'm like, did I really just end this season? I just went back behind the three-point line, looked up and said, please God, make him miss this shot.
Oh, don't make it, don't make it.
I was just praying to God that shot didn't go in.
Thank you, God.
In overtime, Jordan Anderson hit a jumper and 2 free throws to seal Perham's win. The Jackets escaped 65-59. Awaiting them in the subsection championship was Pequot Lakes, a team Perham beat back in January. Only this time, the Patriots were at full strength, and the Jackets were without Zach.
I think there's a lot of skeptics out there that night.
We played Pequot last time. They were missing 2 or 3 of their best players.
And this game tonight's going to be totally different.
All the guys at the internet saying Pequot by 15, Pequot by 20. No one was giving us a chance.
Somehow, we were the underdogs going into this game.
There was no doubt that we were the sentimental favorite. I think in their minds, they still didn't think we were a very good team.
We had to prove to everyone that we deserved to be in that game.
Nearly 1,000 Perham fans drove 45 miles to cheer on the Yellowjackets.
No doubt had the home court advantage in Park Rapids that night.
I mean, they just packed that side behind us.
It was all black on our side.
We had them outnumbered like 3-1 at least.
At the end of the year, everybody was coming to the games.
Announced the Pequot Lakes Patriots. Their fans were just so quiet. They announced us.
The Perham Yellowjackets.
I actually kind of felt it going in.
We go storming off the court, go into the locker room with as much momentum as possible.
We weren't executing real well against their zone, but here we are in the lead. And I said, all we have to do now is what? Win by 1 point.
With 13:41 to play, Pequot Lakes cut Perham's lead to 1. The Jackets responded with a 10-0 run.
Let's get it going, less emotion, more emulsion, burn it down. Let's get it going, less emotion, more emulsion, burn it down. Let's get it going, less emotion, more emulsion, burn it black. Down to the ash, start from the scratch, build it on back. Let's get down, 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 down to biz, down to work, come back down to earth. It's down to this, put down the arms, hands down in the dirt. Let me get you up to speed, it's up to us.
I didn't even realize we were up by 14.
We came out that second half and just killed them.
During the award ceremony, the crowd saved the loudest applause for the last player announced.
And number 3, Zach Gabbard.
That is what really made the evening, was when they announced Zach's name.
The cheer was so loud for him.
Tears came down. It was so emotional.
He was my major motivator, and he may not have been there in person, but he was there in his, in spirit. We celebrated, but we knew that we had to, stop the celebration even a little bit shorter.
1 game away from the big show in Minneapolis.
My dad always said, we ain't done nothing yet.
You ain't done nothing yet, boys. All right, everybody's proud of you. I'm proud of you, you're proud of each other, the town's proud of you, the communities around us are proud of you. But it doesn't mean anything until we get this done.
The Section 8AA final is underway. Speed down low to Schumacher, and one. Down low, Gunderson is denied. Good swarming defense by Perham.
Blocked by Stratton there.
They'll run it back. Schumacher converts on the other end. And an early timeout here by Chris McLean. This is Bruin. He will take the three, and he drains it. Stop and pop three is good from Nick Topkin. How about that steal? Up ahead, Anka, and one. Hell of a chance at a three-point play.
Perham missed chances to blow the game open, but they still led by 8 points at halftime.
Like, the mood in the locker room was just like, oh my gosh, we're losing, but Kressel just said, guys, we're up 8 points in the section final games. I take that any day.
We gotta show a little class, a little swagger here, and pick ourselves up.
Even though our offense was struggling, we just had to have people make plays. And
I'm not impressed easily, but Perham this year is an impressive defensive team.
Foul down low going to be called, though, away from the ball.
Uh-oh. That's 4.
Cross-court pass. Cressup will take this three. He knocks that one down. Huge three-pointer from Cressup. Great block, though. What a huge block by Nick Topkin. Back the other way, Bruin ahead to Stratton. Chance for a three-point.
Late in the game, Thief River Falls was forced to foul. Perham could not capitalize.
One trying to make this a 6-point game. He misses both.
How many free throws did we miss in a row? I don't even want to go there with that.
Why'd you remind me of that?
I was getting used to it by the end of the year that we were going to miss free throws. But
when you hear your own crowd on a free throw go, oh, you know that we've missed a few before that.
I had always thought that free throws were going to be what would make us lose a game.
Now back to Topkin. You got to make sure you get over the line. Up ahead is Stratton waiting for it. He converts. Baseline jumper rejected by Schumacher. The ball to Bruin and a foul. Bruin will go to the line. A chance to ice this. With 39.6 to go. Listen to this crowd.
I was just like, well, I might as well get the crowd going. So I airballed it, and then Thief River fans were doing airball, and then our fans did scoreboard. So it was all for the fun.
The lead is 11. 19 seconds left to go. Thief River down to its last chances. Spino with a three is way short. Bruin to the board. 11 seconds left. You can start to see it. Look at the Perham bench. In a season filled with a ton of emotions, this might be the best one yet. Perham is going to state.
I think there was a mosh pit in the middle, and I'm pretty sure Brian was in the middle of it.
Yeah, I was. I didn't know I was in the middle. All of a sudden, the whole Perham crowd was out on the floor, and I don't think that was supposed to have happened.
Once again, the Perham fans honored Zach Gabbard. It was the loudest cheer of the night.
Drive the emotion here. Most all of Perham is here.
We had a guy in our back, all right, and I really think that really helped us. It inspired them because they are all such good friends.
For Dave Cressup, the celebration was just beginning.
That was awesome, just having him come down and then just hearing his voice. I'm so wet.
We were very prepared for that.
I go, hey, you got to get his cell phone out of there. It'll be fun, but we got to get his cell phone out of there. I talked to his wife, Terry, and said, hey, ask for Dave's phone. Your phone went dead.
Well, you know what? There's always payback. I can always get back at you.
This has been our goal since second, third grade, whenever we started. 2011, 2012. Gotta get the state. They've never been there before.
We made history, you know. First time ever that Perham's ever made it to state, and
wow, we really did this. We're going to state.
Our coaches drove to Duluth that night to watch a championship game in Scout, Virginia.
No rest for the wicked. It was a fun trip over there, just knowing that we're going to state, and now we're gonna see who we get to play.
Virginia reminded us a lot of our own team.
He texts me and he says, I think we can beat them.
Perham had planned a celebratory send-off to state for the Jackets, but it was canceled due to a bomb threat. Then, another tragedy.
A sad story out of Otter Tail County, Minnesota. 2 teenagers are dead after a shooting.
It was a tough morning because I went to the middle school and had no idea, and everybody else had been in a meeting already. I just didn't go to school that morning. I got pulled in the side room and told that Tabby had been killed by her boyfriend, and I was really close to her in my classroom in 6th grade. And so on top of what we already had gone through, it was a very devastating moment, and then I had to think back and say, how am I going to keep this team focused? How are we going to stay focused for this event that we got coming up, and still keep Tabby and everybody else in our thoughts and prayers? And
everything that just happened this year, it's just been like crazy.
It seemed like everything was falling apart.
Team also found out Zach would not be able to join them at the state tournament.
I kind of read that and it was just like, wow. Like, it kind of hurt at first.
Because I had it in my mind that if we made it, everything would be cleared by that time, and the doctors just thought maybe it wasn't time for him to go out.
Williams Arena is the location, and AA basketball state tournament style. We have a treat. Virginia and the Blue Devils taking on the Perham Yellowjackets.
Less than an hour before Perham State Tournament debut, the coaches brought the players to the locker room.
I was like bugging Coach, like, can we go yet? He's like, all right, let's go. Sit on some of the stools.
There was a video chat set up for Zach, and I remember like rushing in, and I got the best seat on the couch.
What we got planned here, we got about 10 or 15 minutes, okay? I don't know how it's all gonna hook up here, but we'll enjoy this now.
I had no idea what was going on. We're just like, okay, let's get this thing going. Let's see Zach. And
I see this TV, but I'm like, Coach, there's not a camera in here. Where are we gonna do a video conference?
How's he supposed to see us? Are we just gonna see him?
We have something for you first.
Hey, look at here, boys! Look at here!
I didn't see that coming.
I was looking at the screen and I just turned around and there he was.
You know, we all kind of looked back and no, like, is that really him?
I just didn't even know what to say.
we just kind of looked at him and we're like, is that Zach?
We're just staring at him.
It was just kind of like, it's Zach. You guys, it's Zach.
I completely and utterly fell for that one.
Goosebumps everywhere. I was just shocked. Just to see him there, it was just like old times.
It was just crazy. You couldn't keep a smile off your face.
It was kind of like that missing piece was back.
I was not gonna miss it. I was in the bathroom. Yeah, it didn't smell good.
Could you hear them all come in?
Oh, I heard them. I was shaking. I was so nervous. I love the look on their faces. Getting shocked. They're like, is that really Zach? He came. Because
his dream was the same as ours, make it to the state tournament. Well, he had a little hiccup in his, but now we're finally there with him at the state tournament.
Hey, you want to hear their version? Okay.
We gotta mix
before I get the questions, I like to say something.
Everybody give me one clap for Zach. 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 One clap for Zach.
And that was the jam.
All right, break it down, baby.
You're gonna say 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, 2.
4, 5, 6.
Work hard. All right, good job, man.
You know what? I knew that we weren't going to lose that game after that.
Then as you walk through that tunnel, it's just like, let's go. And I knew the crowd was gonna go crazy when Zach came out.
You know, at first the crowd didn't even know what was happening, and all of a sudden they saw that he was there, and it was like pandemonium, the standing ovation, and you could just see Zach smile on his face, and just the excitement right in the arena.
Everyone saw me, and the crowd went crazy. Coach, Dames rolled me around, and I got to see all the fans, and there's a lot.
For the first time since January 20th, Zach was on the court with his teammates.
And ladies and gentlemen, a junior forward, number 3, Zach Gabbard.
you lose on Wednesday, you go home the next morning.
Virginia wasn't going to stand in our way. Nobody was going to stand in our way.
I mean, we were ready to put on a show for Zach.
Right there, Perham with the basketball, now baseline, attacks and scores on the right side. Ball is knocked away, scramble forward on the floor. We should have a jump ball. Three on the way, and Perham knocks down their first triple of the game. Jordan, impressive. Dive inside of the baseline, pass to the middle of the floor, Schumacher, good ball movement, left corner, Crescent. Three, count it. 18-6, 10:45 to go in the first half. Left wing, three on the way, Topkin, good! Topkin will try again, and he got it! Oh, two in a row for Topkin! Baseline, back outside, Crescent, three, got it! We go to the half, and Perham is all over Virginia by a score of 38-14.
Preston just couldn't miss.
We were just lighting it up.
When you play D like we do and you're making shots, it's awfully tough to beat us, and we know that.
All I can say is that my teammates got me the ball in the right spots. I hit my first few, started feeling it.
But we were playing exactly how we wanted to play.
You know you can't just let up. You have to keep going and pushing throughout the rest of the game, but you feel pretty confident when you're up 20 points in the first half.
The Jackets stayed in control in the second half.
You can't help but think, oh, it's, 20 points, it's got to be getting kind of close for me to go in. And then
all the starters have checked out for Perham.
It was awesome. I mean, I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
I just felt like I had so much energy. I felt good. I wanted to get out there. I just wanted to show people that I'm just not on the bench just because it's because we have a lot of talent.
Here comes Virginia, and leaping over the scores table is an athletic move from Desmond Duffy. Here's a steal, back the other way, layup is good. Gabe Pankinen. Gadsden loses the ball, back the other way, Pankinen gives chase, tried to save it, oh my gosh.
I don't know, I have no idea what he was thinking.
But here you're going to come out like this, talking us out in your teeth.
I mean, even though it's the last minute, for people watching, for me, it was my big shot.
Yeah, great hustle, but man, somebody's got to tell Gabe about that ledge over there.
At least, can be remembered for something now.
Final score, Perham moves on to the semifinal round with a convincing 57-40 win over Virginia.
What a great game it'll be Friday night at 8 o'clock over at Target Center as this winner takes on the winner of our next game between Waterville Legion, Morristown, and Zimmerman.
They're fast. They had good shooters. I was kind of scared to play either one of them.
I left early. I thought, we're playing Zimmerman.
They were beating Wynn by like 15 points at halftime.
It was chaotic.
Up and down, up and down. They were up-tempo teams.
And went to the hotel, and later Crespo told us, 1-1.
I think our number one concern was how are we going to break that press?
How are we going to slow these guys down? They were very, very athletic at the guards, probably as athletic at the guards as we would see all year long.
What a matchup, though, huh? Best two defensive teams in the state, and just slug it out.
How do you think the team is going to do this tournament?
To win. Guaranteed.
Perham was forced to wait as the other semifinal game went into overtime.
Oh, that was horrible.
It's not fun going from the locker room, walking out there with 20 seconds left, overtime.
I hope they finally hit a shot, and they didn't.
Really, right now? Like, you can't just make a shot or something? And
you know what? They're probably going to Last second shot, he's going to miss it. Going to go into another overtime.
Got to go back to the locker room. Go back out there, another overtime.
They like hold the ball for 2 minutes,
4 times you're ready to run out and kind of get warmed up, but it doesn't happen.
Gosh, we're never going to get this game started.
So it's getting late.
We're in the locker room. We're got to figure out, intros.
Well, these teams have been doing this. Let's see what we can do.
I think Nordic was going to pull his finger off. And
Anderson has his cool, and he's putting on the helmet, and then he's going to go like this.
I didn't think he was actually going to do it.
Senior forward, number 1, Desmond Duffy.
John Wall.
When we just kind of like stopped and looked at each other, and then we looked at Cressup, and see what he's gonna do. And
I was a little upset at first.
Cressup was just like, Desmond Duffy, Desmond Duffy, Desmond Duffy. What are you doing?
I didn't even want to look over there.
Oh my goodness, I thought he was gonna go out there and wring his neck.
Sam Stratton, he's on the bench. He's like, yes, yeah.
I loved it.
Bruin and Shoes, they have their head in their shirt, and I see Anderson. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
And you know what? As I look at it back now, it's something that he'll be able to remember for a long time and cherish. And you know what? That's okay.
I just went out with a bang.
Once again, Zach Gabbard was introduced with his teammates. An introduction no one will ever forget.
Again, they're just pulling some more surprises on us. I mean, Craig gets him up there, and he starts wheeling them out to the tunnel.
I was shaking my knees. I walked out and the crowd went crazy.
And junior forward, number 3, Zach Gabbard.
Watching him, he got up and just walked out there, and everyone was just shocked. It was amazing that he had made such a recovery to being able to walk out on his own power.
That was just an awesome feeling.
And I didn't know what was going on. I honestly didn't know. And to see him walk through that line, boy, to see him where he was at, even a week or 2 before that, maybe not even coming to a game, to get out of the wheelchair and walk was an outstanding moment for everyone.
I didn't even know he could walk, and then he's just walking out on the court.
It was just like a jaw dropper.
When we were in the locker room before the game, he'd been doing some exercises where he had started walking. I waited till we got out on the court, and I asked him, I said, am I pushing you, or are you walking? He said he wanted to walk. So I said, okay. I said, but we got to ask Mom and Dad before we do that, okay? And Steve said yes, and Meredith was a definite no. And Zach turned around and he told Mom, he said, Mom, I'm walking.
Physical therapy, all I did was walk. They're like, he can walk. I don't think they knew that I could walk anymore. I'm a walk. It's the Zach Gabbard walk. I got swag. I just want to show people that I'm still me. I didn't change.
That was just unbelievable. See, like, he surprised everyone.
You amaze me, kid. Nothing can stop you, and you just showed that.
I probably will never forget that, yeah.
Give me a break. It was unbelievable.
This is a game where you've got the immovable object versus the irresistible force. And, as we've said throughout this tournament, this typically plays out to some defensive battles.
And we are underway. Mossberg puts it up and in, and one coming. Oh, he's working the dream shake down there on the baseline. The lob left it a little bit short, and a rebound pulled down by Jordan Greger. Harmon pull up in the lane. Oh, what a sweet looking shot.
During the opening minutes, Perham struggled.
A few minutes into that game, knowing what kind of press they had, we were going to have to adjust and make something happen, or we'd be in trouble.
I'll say it, we came out a little scared of just how quick they were.
Perham with the basketball, looking for their first points of the game, and it's up and in. Schumacher to Stratton. Here's a three-pointer by Cressup on the way, buries it, and we're knotted up at 7. Driving, dishing, foul going to be called, and that's going to be on Schumacher, and that will be number 2.
No foul, he had all ball. It was a beautiful play, got over the top and blocked the shot.
Yeah, that was not a foul at all. I don't know what the official saw, but I mean, you just gotta live with it.
That was huge. We knew we'd need Mark because of his defensive presence.
For some reason, it seems like we always have that one person every single game who gets into foul trouble.
Mid-range jump shot won't go, but a rebound underneath. And lays it up and in. Stratton collected loose change and deposited it for 2. Cressup double teamed, hounded, sends it, and a 10-second violation. And the Bucks are feeling it here at Target Center. The pressure turned up. Another turnover by the Jackets. Oh, blocked out of bounds. We go to a basketball game at Target Center and a block party ensues. Pope, 3 on the way. It is good. Driving, turned it over, and that'll do it. Good if it goes, and it won't go, and we reach the halftime break.
Perham struggled to find its offense and went into the locker room down 15-11.
We were laughing at how low scoring the game before us was, and then here's us in a 15-11 game. We're like, oh boy.
That's how many we'd score in like a couple minutes usually.
I think he challenged those kids to quit playing scared. We're just as good as they are. Go out there and show them that we belong here.
Harmon hits the 3, and it's 22-18.
Back up top of the key, 3-pointer on the way. Tompkin knocks it down. Anything you can do, I can do better. And we go back and forth. It just takes one, and then we get some offense. Mosberg pulls up from 15, and he buries it.
Being down, it's tough.
We're running out of time to score.
I was scared.
We slowly started to feel like this game was slipping away.
You could just kind of like feel the fans like kind of fade out.
I'm like, it's been a fun ride, and I think it's gonna end.
Nice cut. Here's Harmon. Shot is short. Here's Bruin. Up ahead pass. Found Wiska out of the lane into the glass, and it's good.
Late in the second half, WEM held a 6-point lead.
Bruin taps ahead, up ahead, shot is up and it's good. Wiskow with the layup. Will the dream live on for the Yellowjackets? Back cut and stuck underneath. Shot goes up and it's in. It is Tompkin with the bucket and a timeout Perham. 1:17 to go and it's a 2-point game.
We've always battled. We keep fighting every minute.
They go lob up over the top, and it is out of bounds. Nobody touched it, and it's going to go to Perham.
Well, I was running right with him, and I still swear on my life that Mike take that ball.
I don't think he touched it.
It for sure looked like he touched it.
I did not touch it, people.
A minute left, underneath, Schumacher! It's good, and we're tied at 32. Do you believe?
WEM held for one last shot.
Oh, he's going to go. They're going to play on. Gregor looking. 6 seconds left. It's Harmon driving to the rim. Off glass. No good. Rebound Perham. Shot at the buzzer. It's good if it goes. And we are going to overtime.
Mark did come across, and he had his long arm in the way just enough to make him double clutch.
2 free throws gave WEM a 2-point lead.
An offensive foul going to be called on Perham.
And that's going to be a foul on Jordan Bruin, and that is his 5th foul. He is fouled out of the game.
I was mad at myself just not making a smarter choice, but I just knew I had my teammates to back me up.
Timeout taken here. Want to say a special
5-second
call.
call.
Oh no, they didn't get the timeout.
Didn't get it.
Lob down low. Schumacher, ball picked up. Kick it out. 3-pointer on the way. It is good.
I thought that was a 3-pointer, but they're going to say a long 2.
My shoe size would have been that much smaller. It would have been a 3.
Again, WEM held the ball for the last shot.
The crowd comes to their feet. We're tied at 36. Here we go. Mosberg, 4 seconds. Three. Shot at the buzzer is up. It is no good. And we are going to a second overtime.
Did we go into second overtime?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I didn't remember, honestly.
I had a great feeling in my mind after that. The only doubt was who was going to step up and take that shot. And I said, somebody's got to step up and say they can make a play and go make it happen. If you fail, you fail. But I wanted somebody to just say, I'll take the ball, I'll make the play, I'll take the shot, and I'll live with whatever happens.
And everyone's kind of like this, you know, and Nick finally just like, I want the ball right away. I want the ball. Give me the ball. I'm going to score.
Here's Topkin into the front court. Crossover dribble, pull up, jump shot. It's good. The Yellowjackets with a 2-point lead.
He really earned that title as captain. He really stepped up in that game and he said, I want the ball.
He would have never done that at the beginning of the year. He was for sure our go-to guy.
And I was just thinking about this guy, you know, and how he's been playing me, and I gave him the hesitation, and then I kind of did it again, and I crossed over instead and got him in the lane, and so I went up for the pull-up and went in.
With 1:35 to play, Perham had a 1-point lead. Sam Stratton, a 41% free throw shooter during the regular season, was sent to the free throw line.
Sam.
Please let him make these free throws.
So I'm like, Stratton, you better knock these down. I mean, you don't make these often, but you need to make these now. And
I knew I was going to be able to make them.
He shoots it, swish, money, nothing wrong. And then you get to the guy, swish, nothing wrong. We're just like, okay, we got this.
When I hit him, I was like, yes, bring me back up to the line. I'll hit him again.
Sam would get his wish.
They'll get it to Topkin. Up ahead pass to Stratton to the rim. Shot is up, no good, but he's fouled. He'll shoot two.
Please let us make these. Please let us make these.
First free throw is up. It is good. Second free throw is good as well. It's a two-possession game. 58 seconds remaining.
He stepped up and had the confidence to say, I'm going to make them.
WEM would have one last chance.
Inbound, shot, up off glass is no good. 3 seconds remaining. The Yellowjackets have the ball. And ladies and gentlemen, the Perham Dream season continues. The Jackets are on to the state championship game tomorrow afternoon. An improbable comeback. They did not stop believing, and they win 45-41 over Waterville Elysian Morristown.
The Yellowjackets were one game away from a state championship.
I was extremely exhausted, you know, because that was a lot of emotion going. 4 overtimes in the game before, waiting to get on that floor, trailing most of the game, fighting, persevering through a lot of things. The ball wouldn't go in, they were taking stuff away, and finally we get that victory. I think it really hit me exhaustion-wise, you know, and it wasn't early in the night. It was late at night. And then I had to start thinking about how we're going to get these kids to bed and get them fed and get them ready for less than about 12 hours away. We had to play again. So it was just, I think I just hit a total wall of just exhaustion, and I needed to refocus for a second and then think about what we had to do for the upcoming day.
That morning, the team received a text message saying Zach's body was tired. He would not be able to make it to the championship game.
I actually didn't really know he wasn't going to be there, but because I didn't check my phone.
All that excitement drained me, and I can only imagine him being so weak.
I knew he was exhausted from the night before.
It was definitely a letdown to us. We wanted him there for the big day.
Missing him all year long, and then to get him back, only to have him not be there, and the biggest game of the year.
Again, the whole reason we wanted to go to the state championship and win it was for him.
I was very disappointed to hear, but then I hear why he wasn't there, and, you know, it kind of puts life in a different perspective again, you know.
We knew that he wanted to be there just as bad as us, and it really hurt us to not have him there with us.
It was extremely hard, because I was gonna go, but then they had to take my blood pressure again, and it jumped too high. I was pissed. I was crying.
Well, I knew they were going to be a slow-down team that was going to really take a lot of time on each possession, and we were going to have to battle through and play defense and play defense and play defense again.
It was really kind of a football team versus a basketball team.
Winning state in football in our class definitely gave them some experience.
Like I said, they're in the state championship. They're not just going to roll over. They're a good team.
I knew we could take them. I mean, they're a good team, but I just watching them, we were going to match up really good.
Now we turn to our Class 2A championship game as the Rochester Lured Eagles will take on the Perham Yellowjackets for the Class 2A crowd. Jensen across all the way, lays it up, shot no good, rebound McGrath, put back too strong, but then a second rebound by Chris Eikemeyer. He scores the first bucket of the game. Dishing off to Capron for three, it's blocked by Schumacher, way out on the perimeter. Back to Jensen, he'll drive to the bucket, has the shot blocked, and a charge called. Bruin coming up the court now for Cressup, into the near corner now for Topkin for three, and he hits it. And Perham with their first lead today. Off to Capron on the left wing. He'll try a three, and it's good. Perham with the basketball. This is Cressup, and he'll try a three, and he'll dial it up, and it's 8-5. Stratton, and now back out it goes. Schumacher gives it off to Stratton now for three, and another one's good. Back-to-back three for Perham. It's 11-5, and a timeout called here by Rochester Lured. As Bruin now across to Cressup for three, on its way, and good. Cressup lobs it across to Bruin's got some opening, inside it goes, and the pass into Wiskow for the bucket. Will walk in back behind on the baseline. Now out to Capron for three, off the mark, it's an air ball. 1 second left, the ball is loose, and that's how we'll end the half. And so Perham and Rochester Lured playing another slow down affair at the half. It is Perham 18, Rochester Lured 13.
Rochester Lords used an 8-2 run to take a 1-point lead.
Honestly, I was surprised that they had taken the lead. I thought it seemed like we were in control of that game.
We weren't clicking very well on offense at all.
Nervous that we made it this far and we're just kind of breaking apart, but I knew we'd start breaking down their zone.
With 10 minutes to play, Perham called timeout. Assistant coach Brian Schwantz suggested Jordan Bruin use his quickness to attack the zone defense.
I think that really was a turning point of the game.
There's not a guy that we played this year, anyone I've seen that can guard Jordan.
They didn't know what to do with Bruin at the top. And
it just opened up everything else because they had to make up their mind, are they going to come up and stop me, or they start bringing their wings in from the sides that I had shooters in the corners.
For three, off the mark, but a rebound by Stratton, and the putback is good.
Yeah, he did take his game up another notch starting right before the end of the season there.
He was huge. He was just going after every board, just being aggressive with it, and he wasn't going to let us down.
I mean, everybody plays their role and everybody's doing their thing out there.
As Capron has it tipped away, and the steal there by Cressup. And Perham can start to feel it now. As it's up the court now, a three for Topkin, and he hits it! It's 40-25.
And this place just exploded with that three-pointer. What a gutty shot by Nick Topkin, drilling it and giving the Perham Yellowjackets a 15-point lead.
I mean, you could feel the anxiety building up in the gym. Everybody like, they're going to do this. They're finally going to do this.
You know, we've had some good teams before. These guys know how to win.
Greatest basketball team to ever come through Perham High School. I told that to Cressup earlier in the season. He said, no, that's not true. I said, no, this is the best that's ever been here.
McGrath will just pump it up. A high arcing three, no good. Eichenmeyer will put it up. Slams it home. 2 seconds left, but the clock is going to strike 0. And the Perham Yellowjackets, a team of destiny, is the state champion.
With everything we've gone through, we probably shouldn't be here, and yet here we are.
It'll be remembered for a long time. It's a happy ending story. Although you went through the tragedy of losing a friend, and everybody had the inspiration to play for him, and eventually he comes back and meets you at the state tournament, and you go out and you win it for him. That's a pretty good story.
We're gonna have that banner there forever. It's always gonna be there. We're always gonna be able to come back when we're old guys and say I was part of that team, and it's just something that you'll never forget.
You don't know how important this is to me. I can't explain how important it is that we won. This is a milestone. I mean, this is one of my 10 things that happened in my whole life that is most important to me.
And then I look up in that crowd and see everybody crying and cheering and jumping up and down and kids laughing and hugging each other. There's nothing better than that.
Heart. We had heart the whole season. The motivation that Zach gave us really put us over the top, and we couldn't let him down.
We could have just gave up right away when Zach went out, but knowing that we stayed together and fought for Zach, it makes everything more special.
We're the best team in the state, and nobody can say that we aren't, because we have this trophy and this medal to say we did.
I mean, why not? I mean, we were the team that had the most hardship. I mean, we had the will, and we had the motivation, we had the inspiration, we had, you know, we came back after time and time again of like things not going our way, you know, so why not us?